if anybody actually wants to take some time to sort of like dig back into like the history of the way Democrats act in this state, I mean, like, look, the pledge is kind of like the shining example of
Yeah.
how like there can be very little daylight between the Democrats and the Republicans in New Hampshire. I think another sort of touchstone on that issue is, say, legalizing marijuana. Like, there's
So much missed revenue.
yeah, exactly. And it's not like, look, it's fair to point out to people that you're talking about like, some people will say, well, oh, why would we need an income tax? Let's just legalize marijuana and we'll just tax that and that'll pay for everything. And that's something for folks to understand, is that that's the difference between millions and billions, right?
Yeah.
Like marijuana revenue will be in the tens of hundreds of millions, whereas broad-based taxes like a property tax, income tax, sales tax, that gets you billions. That pays for real meaningful stuff. Now, like, we can take those tens and hundreds of millions from marijuana and we can reinvest it into a lot of really good stuff, but it's not a replacement for a broad-based tax. So just to like, I just want to sort of sidebar what I'm talking about here with that, because like it's important to understand contextually that like that's just not it's not a substantial replacement. But the point being is that, yes, it's still just a copious amount of missed revenue. Like, it's ridiculous. And furthermore, to anybody who cares about like their individual rights, that is an infringement on your right to just do what you want to do. I mean, it's a plant, man. It like I don't understand why we can't just let it all go.
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways, it shows me that there's like once people get into the state house, there's so much focus on decorum and just sort of like, well, we got to work together. I understand that, because that's exactly what you're supposed to do in a sense, but to sacrifice helping people as much as you can to like be nice to somebody seems a little absurd.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I'm not saying there shouldn't ever be bipartisan effort when that bridge is already formed, but I think people place just too much of a focus on making it work and end up compromising on some pretty serious values in the process. So I think that's kind of where I and us as an organization, we draw a line when our values are compromised. So